Hello friends, it's Stamp Ventures with Shauna, Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, Canada. Welcome to my Wedding Wednesday video. Wedding Wednesday is not going to be a normal thing, but I didn't have Tuesday tutorial yesterday because of book club, and I had a wedding card that I really need to get done, and I thought, well, I'd show you what I'm doing here. And I tried to actually do the video yesterday afternoon, and Facebook has gone and changed things on us, and I could not get on to a live yesterday. So I'm hoping that I made it today. I'm crossing my fingers here. Let's see, I think I need to adjust the camera slightly. Maybe if I can find the video on Facebook, I'll know if I think I've found it. I've made it. Whew. Okay, that was the biggie. Yeah, it's funny how you think you should just be able to press a button and get onto Facebook, and no, it doesn't work that anymore. You have to press these three little lines down in the corner and answer these questions. And then you think, oh, okay, go back to the regular screen. No, you have to actually go live from there. And so they've discombobulated me here, but I managed, I think, to do it. So if you happen to manage to find me here for Wedding Card Wednesday, say hello, give a shout, and I'll just show you quickly what I'm working on here. But before that, in every partnership, there is a person who stacks the dishwasher like a Scandinavian architect. Well, that would be me. And a person who stacks the dishwasher like a raccoon on meth. Yes. Yep. I think we have some raccoons in my family. Okay. And, quick weather report. Even though it's not Tuesday. Today's weather is perfect for picking apples. Yes, some of you saw my apple post, and we've been dealing with like probably 1,000 apples on our apple tree this year. And today I managed to get out there and pick about 200 more. So yeah, we're still going crazy with apples. And if you would like some, please let me know. They're not the greatest for eating. They are quite sour, but they are perfect for baking. And because they have a low sugar content, they will last a long, long time in the fridge. For example, after Christmas, in the month of February, I'll pull out some apples to make my son's birthday apple crisp. So yeah, some of them might start to go, a little bit soft, but for the most part, they will last in the fridge crisper until February. So today's weather report is brought to you by the Apple Harvest stamp set in the annual catalog, page 38. And I was asking myself the other day, why did I not buy this stamp set? Because I sure could have used it this year. We've got so many apples. And I did notice, I think, that they had temporarily brought out dies for these stamps. And I think the dies are on the clearance rack. So really, that's a really good reason for me to get the stamp set, because then I can get the dies that were discontinued that are on sale on the clearance rack. There we go. All right. So we'll get started with the wedding card idea. And I'm going to be using designer paper that's old, because the wedding theme today is something old, something new. And so, the paper that I'm going to be using is from this pack that we don't carry anymore, but I kind of hoarded it because I loved it. And I think it's going to work quite nicely for the wedding card I'm doing today. Now, the last couple of videos that I managed to do, I didn't get one done last week because of the helping my son move to the apartment that day. I was showing you cards based on designer paper that was cut. Well, to start with, we started with 6 by 6, and then we cut 3/4 of an inch off the bottom of the 6 by 6 to make it 5 1/4 by 6. And then we created this little flip flap card like that. and you see both sides of the designer paper. And because you get like 4 pieces of the 6x6 designer paper in a sheet, it just uses, you know, the paper so well. And then I started thinking to myself, could I do a card going horizontal as opposed to a vertical and still, you know, get this flip flap thing going and seeing both sides of the designer paper and making good use of the paper? And I discovered, yes, you can. So if it's a pattern that goes in any old direction, you can cut 1, 2, 3, 4 flaps for your horizontal card in 8x4. If it's directional paper and, you know, only has a definite up and down, then you'd get 3 pieces, and then this piece you'd have to use for something else. And then you do get a little square spare piece down here in the corner that, you can use for other parts of the card or a completely different card. So I'm going to show you how I'm going about doing that. I've got some stuff already pre-cut and stamped, so it won't take long. Now, I think I saw a couple comments. Oh, Maxine, hello. Yes, yeah, you heard I have lots of apples. I sure do. Holy smokes. So yeah, like I said, I picked about 200 more today, and there's still some on there. And we even had our neighbors beside us, who's like, our tree is right close to the fence there, and some of the tree hangs over into their yard, and they got out their ladder and were helping us pick, and there's still apples out there. Okay, so as I mentioned, I grabbed that older designer paper. I liked this. Did I say what it was called? Did I say it and I've already forgotten? What is the name of this paper? It is Splendid Day. And because it's a wedding, I wanted something shiny. So this is going to be the something old, but then I will be also using something new on the card. And so you can see 8x4, 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 8x4. And the little square spare piece in the corner. So I'll move that out of the road. And I already did do a score line there, because it's going to have that flap, flip, flop, flap. And so I've just cut a 5.5 inch by 4 1/4 base. And this is going to go on like this, and it will fold at 4 1/4. I had something happen to my paper trimmer the other day. I've been taking it around with me a lot to kind of cut and work on projects on the go, and I realized that my scoring blade had fallen out, and I don't know where it is. So I do have a Simply Scored tool. I could use that, but in a pinch, I also remembered that I have tips for my Take Your Pick tool, and I just put the edge of my paper at the 4 1/4 mark there, and I lined my stylus end up there, and that's how I scored it. Now, here's the thing about this dimension that the dimension of this piece that I've created. It's not perfectly exactly down the center. I know, that's shocking, isn't it? I mean, we might need to call the police about it. But I just, in comparison to this card, which was 6 inches, and then we scored it at here, which would be at 4 inches from this edge. So there's a 2-inch chunk here. And so basically, this is a 4-inch piece, this is a 2-inch piece, so this 2-inch piece is like exactly half of the flat background. This is a little bit more. It's like 1/8 of an inch more, but I'm not going to let that bother me, so I'm just going to keep it at 8 inches by 8 inches long. But if you did want it exactly down the middle, you could cut off 1/8 of an inch, which in my friend Tamara's language, that's 2 ticks less, 2 ticks under 8 that you would cut it. It would be like 7 7/8. So now I needed the other part to flip flap with it. And first of all, I cut this piece, and it is 8 inches. Wait a second. Oh, hang on. It's 8.5. Yep. You just take an 8.5 width of your paper, your basic white, and then this is 3 inches. I better double check on that before I start telling you stories. Yeah, it's 3 inches, and then scored at 4 1/4. And that's one way you can do your other flip-flop part. You could cut it down and make it smaller, or I've discovered something cool that you can do with these dies. And these are the Countryside Corner dies, and I chose to use the third largest of the Countryside Corners. And you can take your piece, and you're going to run it through like 2 layers of our basic white cardstock, but you're going to put this die so that the cutting edge is just over the edge of the fold. So it's not on top of any of the paper, it's just hanging off the edge of the fold. And when you run it through your Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, you get a little mini card like this that has cute corners and just a little bit more interesting. And so yeah, if you've got those dies, you can easily step this card up just by doing that, creating a little mini card by pushing that blade just off to the edge. And I would recommend you use our regular basic white cardstock for this, not our thick, because the thick will be a little bit harder for it to cut through the 2 layers. But with the regular, it worked really well. So now I'm going to be ready to decorate my card. And what I'm not going to do, I've learned this over the years, I'm not going to use my go-to liquid glue that I usually do, because when I put the glue on the back here and then I set it down, the shininess of the paper will like magnify the lumps of glue underneath, and then it will look all lumpy. So I'm just going to use my flat tape runner, my Stampin' Seal. The Stampin' Seal is very strong, even the regular strength. I mean, the Stampin' Seal Plus is super strong, but even the regular strength Stampin' Seal is good. And I'll use that, and I won't get any lumps and bumps. And as you see, I like to just put my adhesive down at one end, and that gives me a little bit of time to wiggle it into place before I fully commit. So let's see here, something like that. We'll call that good. Now I'll go back and just do a little bit more seal. Try not to get too close to the edge because I don't want my seal sticking out there. Okay, so the first part of our flip-flop card is done. Now, as much as I really want to like glue this down right away, I should probably do a few of the different things that I'm going to layer on it and make sure it's all is well that way, and then I'll add it to the card. So I have pulled out, this is the something new. Remember, the paper was something old. This is a wedding card, something new. So I've pulled out the timeless arrangements, but I don't think I'm going to be using the stamps on here. I'm going to go to the dies, and some of you have probably seen me use these before. I just love them so much. They're perfect for wedding cards. I used them a couple weeks ago for a birthday card. They make lovely, lovely sympathy cards. Yeah, they're just so nice. So I die cut out this widest rectangle, or tallest, I guess I should say, tallest rectangle, like the little stitch marks in the middle there. And then I die cut out one of each of these pieces. No, that's wrong. I die cut 2 of them, 2 of each of them. And this one I've already got the layers glued together. And so I'll just do that for these 3 here. And I just love how the tabs that come cut out with them just allow you to do whatever layering you'd like. Ooh, might have to declog my, oh, there we go. Hopefully that'll help declog my liquid glue. It's going into shock. It hasn't been used for a couple of days. And it's like, what? You mean I have to come out? Okay, so we're going to see if my pokey tool from my Take Your Pick will help this. I've had this happen before. The other thing that you can do if you get, and I don't find mine clogs all that much, you can also take this end off, and then you can, oh, I should be careful. I'm going to end up getting glue on all my little pieces here. You can dig in this way and see if, oh, there we go. I think I got it started now. Woo! All right. Okay. I should have, oh, well, I'll just grab a Kleenex. Yeah, my pokey tool is going to like adhere itself to the Kleenex, but oh, well, that's okay. I'll get out some of my hand sanitizer and, you know, all that stuff to, okay. This end of the glue, it screws on and off backwards. Okay, let's try this again now. Let's see if we can get our tabs glued together. Oh yes, it's going like gravy now. I don't know if that's a saying. I just made that up. Going like gravy. Running all over the place. And one more. Okay, so now we've got our 2 sets of foliage ready to go onto the wedding card. Should close that up so it doesn't dry out too much. And we're going to go to something old again. So something old, something new, something old. I pulled out this set. I think it just like retired maybe this past March, April, past April. I don't know. If it wasn't this past one, it was just the one before. And I found the Wishing You a Happily Ever After. And I actually already stamped it onto this little piece. I cut 2 of them. And I used the Sahara sand, which is also a retired color, because that's the colors that are in the paper pack. And before I glue on the foliage, I should tell you that I did take another layer of the designer paper, and this is where you could use this extra square. Yeah, you'd get a few of these pieces, and I just created an extra layer, and I'll grab my ruler and tell you what this extra layer is at, so that if you're interested in doing an extra layer for this label die, it's 2 3/8, so almost 2.5. 2.5, but subtract 2 of the little ticks. And then this is 1, and you know what? I'm going to call it 1.5. It's a generous 1.5, but yeah. So that's about the size you'd want if you want to create a mat for this little stitched label. So then we're going to adhere the foliage to the label, and we'll have some for the top and some for the bottom. And I just love, yep, there we go. There's that little tab right there. You don't have to do really any thinking. It's just all ready to go. And I always do it into this left-hand corner like that. So I get a big bunch of foliage going in that direction. And then I turn it upside down, and then I go into the opposite corner diagonally there. Just like that. Looks like there's a couple little pieces of the paper that I didn't punch out from the die cuts. And now I can't do it because I've got glue on the tip of my pokey tool. So I'll have to wait once my pokey tool has been cleaned up and de-stuck. And I can go back in and poke out those little holes. So now I'm going to put this onto here. Maybe I should perhaps glue this first, because that's going to be a lot getting in my way trying to hold when I glue that down. So get this and open it up wide, and basically That must be the folded edge. There we go. I want to center this. There. Yeah. Use my index finger to kind of tell me center side to side and center up and down. And I'll put a little glue back there. And now I'm always thinking about putting that glue cap back on. Okay, how close are we here? Pretty close. Yeah, about a finger width away from each edge. Let's turn it this way to see if it's kind of sort of looks straight in this direction. You know, because there are no straight lines here, I guess people aren't really going to be able to tell if it's not perfectly straight. The pattern makes it can hide some flaws. You know, I can also just grab, okay, what's that? 3/4 of an inch and 3/4 of an inch. We'll call that really, really, really good. Okay. So now I'm going to pop this up with dimensionals, and it's going to make it like, yeah, pretty wild, and lots of, you know, they have, for a lot of weddings, they have beautiful swag and flowers and all the things. Well, that's, I guess, what's going on with this card. Okay. So, I think there might be some glue there. I might have to go back and use my glue eraser. Have you seen one of these before? It's an adhesive eraser, and it gums up and picks off sticky things and glue. You can get them often at the dollar stores. There we go. Yeah, it was just a little bit of gummed up whatever glue from my fingers, I think. Not just lifted it off. So now I'll add the foliage. Oh, and don't want this to go above here, because then that piece of greenery will it will be bent over when it gets put into the card. So something like that. Okay. Now, of course, we have to add some bling and some ribbon. The last time that I made a card, I think I used some of this beautiful sheer ribbon. It's got a silvery edge to it, and I was thinking maybe I could tie that there. But then I was also looking in my stash of the things that I purchased from the new mini catalog, and there is some white ribbon that's like, I think it's iridescent. Is that what they call it? Let's see here. White. Well, yes, I know it's white, but yes. Oh, there it is. I couldn't see the English for looking here. Iridescent. So there's two different options for me to tie a bow, and now maybe you could help me with this, because I'm like, oh, which one do I want to use for this card? It's going to be like tied in a bow and go on the corner here. Let's see, what does this one look like? If you want to weigh in the comments, let me know, and I'll take a look and see. Okay, I'm holding that the wrong way. Iridescent or with the silver edge or silver trim. Here, I'll take a look and see if anybody happens to notice this question. Oh, Inez has asked, what DSP am I using? And so this DSP was from, when was it from? It was from last spring, I think. It's called Splendid Day. Yeah, and I love it. And because we're doing a wedding card, and sometimes for weddings you have something old and something new, I was using the something old Splendid Day paper. So let's see if we've had anybody weigh in here. Yeah, you know what? I'm just going to go with the iridescent. I'll make a an executive decision here and try that. And let's see, get my bunny ears ready to go. For those of you who want to see my superpower of tying bows, this is one of the ways I can tie bows. I just have to make sure I have enough to hang on. So I take the 2 bunny ears and I cross them. And this one that's in front is going to be wrapped around and it's going to come up through the hole that I've created in the bottom. Oh, thanks, Inez. I'm glad you like that choice. I kind of was leaning towards that one, but sometimes, you know, when you look at it through the lens of the camera and you see things differently. And so, yeah, and I appreciate the input too. Oh, Brenda, multitasking tonight. That you are multitasking tonight? Are you at the hockey game? That's what it is, I think. Yeah, I hope the Warriors do better than they did the other night. Yeah, okay. I try to multitask, but as many of you know, like your comments come up and then most of the time I miss them and then I have to go back and refresh refreshing the screen, and yeah, so I'm not all that good at multitasking. Okay, that might be a bit big, but I'm gonna cut it there and then we can play around with it a bit and adjust it. Okay, so oh yeah, that's a little big. We want to pare it down a little. Okay, so some of you who play with bows know that, you know, there's always one part of your bow that's to pull it and make it smaller, and then the other part is you pull it to tighten it. So you got to make sure you pull the right parts of the bow. There, I think that's, oh, but it's already made it bigger again. I don't want it that big. This one keeps wanting to turn. I guess I just need to, there we go. Turn it. Let it go in its natural bow way. Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay, go littler. Go littler. I guess it's wide ribbon too. So note to self, if you want to make a tiny bow, don't use ribbon. That's too wide. There, that's a bit better. Not quite so overbearing. We'll trim these guys off. Okay, yeah, I can manage that. I can handle that. And ooh, it does look some shiny and pretty and weddingy. I'm liking this ribbon. This is from the September through December mini catalog. Which, by the way, I'm going to be putting in an order on, to think about this, on Saturday. So if you need me to add anything on to my order, you don't want to pay the minimum $9.95 shipping, and you can pick it up at my house, let me know, and I can add on whichever little item that you need. Okay, oh, so pretty. Okay. Now, I just realized something. I don't want things to hang over this left edge because I want to be able to open it. Okay, the bow is allowed to bend. Paper does not do so well bending, but the bow will bend. Whew! Okay, we're in business. So, the last thing, it has to have bling because, yeah, a wedding card. Want to make this nice. This wedding card is going to be given to a friend who I went to high school with. So I've known her for quite a long, long time. So I need your help again. I've pulled out 2 different kinds of bling. I've pulled out our basic rhinestone jewels. And then I've pulled out the iridescent rhinestone jewels. And let's see if I can... There's kind of to give you an idea. Let's see if I've got a smaller piece of the... Oh, they're stuck to the backing of it, but here we go. So, what do you think? The iridescent rhinestones or the regular rhinestones? The regular rhinestones do make me think of a wedding ring. Which reminds me, I never did put my wedding ring on today because I went first thing this morning to my strength class And when we're like lifting and hanging from a bar and doing all that, it kind of bothers me in there. So yeah, and then I just got busy doing things. And so I'll just check and see if anybody has weighed in. Okay. So, oh, glad that you, oh, it's a tie game. Ooh, okay, go Warriors. Left-hand side, regular left-hand side. Okay, yeah. I think those will definitely show up. And like I said, they do make me think of wedding rings, engagement rings. Rings, rings, rings. Okay, so now I have to decide where these are going to go. And I'm thinking, I could maybe put one there, and somewhere over there. I always like to do triangles because I think triangles are generally fairly pleasing to the eye, and they can kind of balance things out. And I think I'm just going to use little ones. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Maybe just down like that. There. Okay. I still might stamp something on the inside, or I just might do my own personal message, but that's the wedding card. So I've achieved two things. I've discovered that, you know, you can do the flip-flap card with the designer paper two different ways. You can do it vertically with the 6x6 or 6x5 1/4, and horizontally with the 8x4 paper. And I have the wedding card ready to go to give to my friend. So I hope you liked seeing today's demonstration. If you have any questions, give me a shout. I do have a couple of Christmas card classes coming up, one for October and two for November. So watch, you can take a look for that information on my Facebook page, or yeah, send me a message if you have any questions about anything card making related. And have a good rest of the evening there, everyone. Thanks for stopping by to say hello and for helping me to make decisions with putting together the rest of my card here. Have a great week, everyone. Bye for now.